Welcome back once again, everyone, to another ranking video. In this one, I will be ranking every Studio Series figure that was released in 2022, but I did not get them until 2023. And I stated this in a previous video that is largely due to poor stock and poor sales and distribution, which is continuing to plague Transformers toys as a whole nowadays. Like, for example, the wave with Hot Rod and Crosshairs I did not get until this year. The Fallen did not show up until this year. I did not get SS Bumblebee Ratchet until this year. Some of these characters I did not get until 2023, and now we're in 2024 by the time I'm doing this video. So if I accidentally say this year, forgive me. But yes, this is going to be my ranking of Studio Series figures I got in 2023, but were released in the previous year of 2022. And again, I will be going from least favorite to most favorite. And it also is going to come down to a preference on, who I like more than the other, and who's likely going to win. Because I may be a little bit controversial with my picks. Coming in at the 9th spot goes to Studio Series number 92 Deluxe Class Crosshairs. Now, don't get me wrong, I do like this figure, and I did like the original Age of Extinction TLK Deluxe. But this figure, as good as it is, it does leave a lot to be desired because, well, one, has a huge backpack, which was to be expected when you take a very humanoid designed character and turn it into a transforming toy. Not to mention, the annoying spoiler keeps popping the fuck off. I hate this fucking thing. Not to mention, being a very humanoid design means if all this kibble is going to be on the back, and sometimes whenever I've transformed him, this piece comes undone because it pops off on the ball joint that it's on. Again, now I do like the articulation. The head is a little limited though, and I do like the guns. I do like how the guns store on the back of his little cape. But aside from the accessories and features and a good transformation, Crosshairs isn't my favorite Studio Series figure that was released in 2022, nor was he one of my favorite characters in the sense that, I'll be honest, I really did not care for any of the characters after Dark of the Moon, and even after 2007, I really did not give a shit. But as a figure, as he stands, he is a good figure, but again, does leave a lot to be desired. Coming in at the A spot goes to Studio Series number 88, see what I did there, Deluxe Class Sideways. Now, why do I like this figure over Crosshairs? Well, he does have one thing over Crosshairs. A waist joint that is not needed during transformation at all, and it's just something Hasbro, felt like putting into the figure. And another thing, which, is accurate to the PS2 Wii version of the Revenge of the Fallen game, is this triple-barreled cannon that can go on either arm. Oh, and opening hands. Because opening hands makes all the difference when it comes to a figure, and making them more expressive. And yes, you can store the cannon on the back, and again, as I've mentioned in these videos, I intend to review these figures at some point eventually, and y'all are gonna have to be patient. But as a figure and how he stands, well, the legs, given the Michael Bay chicken leg design, I mean, you kind of have to fiddle with him a bit, because he'll still stand, but then given the weak ball-jointed feet, he'll have a tendency to fall over. Now, does that make him a bad figure? No. No, there are worse figures out there, and there are obviously better figures, and Sideways could have been better. It's the legs that, have to support the weight of the arms and all of this upper body. But this is a really good figure and an update on that old 2009 toy, since, he's more accurate and not based on concept art. Because given the 5-minute screen time that Sideways got in the Revenge of the Fallen movie in the opening scene in Shanghai, well, Sideways did not have much of a presence in the actual movie itself in regards to, like, his role. And his role was quite literally cut short. And we know who was responsible for that. But again, as he stands, he is actually a good feeling figure and a good looking figure. He poses well. If you can get something out of the legs, well, you actually have a good and fun figure. Because again, this leg design kind of brings him back a bit. But again, I have stated a reason as to why I put him over Crosshairs, because, Crosshairs leaves a lot to be desired, but then again, so does Sideways, but at least, Sideways is the exception, because, like Crosshairs, he is later down the line in regards to Studio Series, and is a bit of a step up from, say, Studio Series Barricade. Studio Series Barricade does not hold up very well in regards to, well, mostly everything. At least Sideways actually does hold up well in regards to not just accuracy, transformation, and ult mode, but, everything. And is not compromised due to getting a vehicle license, because the problem with Sideways is that, he's not a fully licensed Audi R8 vehicle, which I also forgot to mention with Crosshairs. He is a fully licensed Chevy Corvette, or at least the Corvette of 2014. Again, there's a whole, deal with Sideways being an Audi R8 rather than a different vehicle that he actually was going to initially be, but that's besides the point. Again, as a figure, I do recommend him, but not so much. Coming in at spot number 7 goes to Studio Series number 77, Deluxe Class Nest Bumblebee. Now he does come with a little human minifigure that I have omitted because it's a piece of shit. Now this figure is an oddity. Now this figure is a bit of an oddity due to the fact that, well, it's a Nest redeco of the Studio Series number 57 Off-Road Bumblebee from, his initial appearance in the Bumblebee movie when he lands on Earth, scans the Jeep mode, and has his fight with Blitzwing after being confronted by the human agents of Sector 7. And as a figure, this is a really good figure. This is a really good figure. And there's another Bumblebee figure that I have also mentioned in another previous video that is already good. And before that figure came along, the Off-Road Bumblebee, and by extension the Nest Redeco, is a really good figure. I love the transformation, I love how he can pose, and, I do love the cannon. I do wish he came with the blade, because, he did have a blade in his fight with Blitzwing. And the ball joints in the ankles, allowing for ankle tilt. Oh, and a waist rotation? No wrist joint, but, the waist and the ankle tilt already sold this figure for me. Yes, he's just another Bumblebee, especially given the Nest colors, but I really like this figure. And say what you want about the abundance of Bumblebees, because I will obviously still complain whenever Hasbro puts out another fucking Bumblebee toy. If it's a good one, whether it's actually good looking, or, it poses and, you have it in hand, because sometimes Hasbro stock photos don't do a figure justice. This is really good. If you have the off-road version, then you don't need this. But if you missed out on it, well, good luck trying to track it down. Because I did not find this until I went to a GameStop one day and I found him. So he's really just an exclusive to wherever he's being sold. Wherever he was being sold, that's where he was found. So, yeah. Coming in at spot number 6 goes to Studio Series number 80 Deluxe Class Bumblebee Movie Brawn. I love this figure. Like, I really do. This is where the Bumblebee movie figures are gonna start coming into play, because the entirety of 2022 was mostly just bringing those Bumblebee movie characters that we saw on Cybertron in figure form. And if I have to say it, the Bumblebee movie is peak, and I don't give a shit what anyone says. Because without that Cybertron scene, we wouldn't have gotten these designs and these characters as to how they should have been in the movie. And Brawn kind of embodied that, because it was his first time on screen in an actual movie. And being that he finally appeared in a movie, we got this. A G1 based Brawn, and nothing from the Bayverse era. Because say what you want. And again, people are very opinionated, but I love this. And if this does support blast effects from the War for Cybertron trilogy or Legacy, as evident by the fact that, this is a bit of a 5mm post. Oh, and another thing, he comes with a drill accessory based on an episode of the G1 cartoon where he used a drill in his alt mode, and this is kind of intended for alt mode, but it can work in robot mode as well, because there's a post on the drill right here that can plug onto the top. So if, in case you don't want something like this, you can have something like this. My one gripe with this figure is the weapon storage and how it falls off his back, which is a bit annoying when I don't feel like posing him. But yeah, this is a really, really, really good figure. In regards to, putting Brawn into the spotlight in a movie for once. Even though, he had a brief scene on Cybertron where he got shot in the shoulder. Again, anyone G1 fans know, But yeah, I really enjoyed this figure. And I do recommend him, especially in regards to having, a G1 styled or based Brawn, or, a movie Brawn. And, he's a really good figure. And I'm pretty sure this made a lot of Brawn fans, including myself, very happy. Coming in at a joint spot at number 5 and breaking through the front lines goes to Studio Series number 82 Deluxe Class Ratchet and Studio Series number 84 Deluxe Class Ironhide. Being the same mold, these are really good figures. Ratchet obviously was the one who came first because, he was more prominent in the Cybertron scene more than Ironhide, and Ironhide was only seen in the background. But of course, since, Ironhide was going to be inevitable, he had to be, included. And, everything is pretty much the same. Obviously, different colors, different heads, and obviously different personalities. These are really good figures. Like, I do not need to express how much I love the Bumblebee movie cast, especially in toy form, because, these are essentially the G1 characters in live action, but with, Cybertronian forms, because obviously they don't have anything resembling Earth mode parts, unless, they were to come to Earth in a later movie. I'm not talking about Rise of the Beasts, because they were absent in Rise of the Beasts, but like in a later movie. And as they stand, well, I know how people feel about Ironhide and, like the gray on the legs rather than, the legs being all red, or like, if the red parts were right here, just to add that consistency, because it made no sense for the crotch area to be gray and then these parts of the legs to be gray. It's whatever. But yeah, again, if it was just Ratchet or if it was just Ironhide, they would have been on this spot either way, but since, they share the same mold, I could not really put one above the other, because they, have... Their tolerances are also similar. The transformations are pretty much the same. Like, there's nothing new going on for either of them, but I still love both of them. And I do recommend them especially if you are a Ratchet fan or an Ironhide fan, or you love the Bumblebee movie and you want to recreate the Cybertron opening scene, yeah, I recommend these two. Stopping the time at number 4 is this French bastard, Studio Series number 93 Deluxe Class Hot Rod. Now, despite my hatred for this fucking movie and what they did with one of my favorite characters, because Hot Rod is one of my favorite characters, little rant aside, I like this figure. Like, I actually do. Like, he is, funnily enough, leaps and bounds better than Crosshairs, his wave mate. And much better than that old deluxe that we got during 2017 when TLK came out. He comes with his, stop the time gun, but if you didn't want, like, the actual time bubbles, and, this kind of is storage for the gun itself, you can store it on either of the legs, and it keeps falling. You can store it on either of the legs, and, just have, the regular blaster, because in the movie, Hot Rod did have 2 blasters. Makes me wonder why he didn't come with a second one without the clip. Would have made more sense if he, had that. But I do like this figure. Like, waist rotation, ball joint in the feet, giving him ankle tilt, and even a wrist joint, which, is rare for Studio Series, and I say that because, not a lot of Studio Series figures get the, Generations treatment that Studio Series 86 and Legacy get, and even the War for Cybertron trilogy, where they get wrist joints, ankle tilt, and waist joints. But as a figure and how he stands, and not necessarily the design, because, I don't like the design, but as a figure and how he stands, I do love this figure. And I do recommend him if you are trying to complete the movie cast, especially for, any Bayverse fans that, somehow like The Last Knight for whatever reason, or, they like Hot Rod and his French accent. Yeah, he's good. He's just good. Blasting her way into number 3 goes to Studio Series number 85 Bumblebee Movie Deluxe Class RC. Now, this is, to many fans, the best RC figure, and because it's not Studio Series 86 RC, I can agree to that extent, because it's essentially the best live action design of RC we're gonna get, because screw Revenge of the Fallen. Revenge of the Fallen was not RC. Let me be real here. That did not deserve to be RC. This is essentially probably the definitive RC figure, because, because she didn't transform in the actual movie itself, the designers were given creative liberty and freedom with, making her as accurate as possible, limiting the back kibble, which, I forgot to mention with the other Bumblebee movie characters. These figures were given Cybertronian modes that were not seen in the movie, and in RC's case, a Cybertronian bike, and with Ratchet and Ironhide, Cybertronian van and ambulance, Brawn, whatever he would have transformed into on Cybertron. But as a figure and how she stands, she's quite poseable. Of course, initially when I first got the figure, I did not know that this was supposed to come undone to allow her to actually properly stand. And of course, doing this allows her to, be dynamic and pose. And yes, I put her over Hot Rod. Why? Because I do not like that French bastard. And yeah. Do I recommend her? Absolutely. Especially since, this is the best RC design we were going to get in live action, not counting Rise of the Beasts, because Rise of the Beasts actually did, justice to the character in regards to a design and bringing her to Earth. Again, 10 out of 10 would recommend. Teleporting his way into the runner-up number 2 spot goes to Studio Series number 91 Leader Class, The Fallen. And this figure was sought after by many Bayverse collectors and those who were trying to complete the Revenge of the Fallen cast and were waiting for an update on the Fallen, and we got it. Now, this is a controversial pick at number 2, because there was a character that I did put above him that is number 1, but that was a bit of a joint spot because it's 2 characters in one. But for the Fallen, being a leader class figure is really well done. Like, he's very accurate to his appearance in the movie, and in addition to, like, the staff, which can, split apart, he has the give me your face gimmick where Optimus Prime, at the end of the movie, rips off his face, and he screams, and then gets killed. Again, I'll be honest, I do not like Revenge of the Fallen. But it's the better movie between that and The Last Knight. Like, I like Revenge of the Fallen more than The Last Knight because it was made when Transformers was, at its peak. But, gimmick aside, I like the articulation, I like, the weapon. What I don't like are the annoying bits that, are on, that, connect the arms to ball joints. And honestly, removing these, if you remove these, and as they serve as they don't really serve a purpose, the Fallen could be left like this, and you can still get the full rotation out of the arms. I mean, you still get the rotation out of here. He does not have a waist joint, and still sports the Michael Bay chicken leg design, but of course, this does make him feel a bit naked and a bit empty, so yeah. And there is a reason why, despite being number 2 on the list, because, as a figure, he's really good, but, has his flaws. Like the flaws alone kind of prevent me from wanting to like him more and trying to actually, because, the character did kind of suck in the movie. And, the old figures, minus Hunt for the Decepticons, lacking the removing face gimmick and having an accurate, design, but as he stands, this is a really well done figure, and for those looking to complete the Revenge of the Fallen cast, well, this will do it since he was the main villain. Taking the number 1 spot on my ranking list of Studio Series figures that I got in 2023 but were released in 2022 goes to Bumblebee movie, Soundwave, and Ravage. Soundwave being the Voyager and Ravage being a core class. So yes, this is a bit cheating since it's 2 figures in the same spot, but because Ravage is essentially a companion piece to Soundwave, he kind of had to be included with him. Now, this figure is perfect, is amazing. It's what Soundwave should have been in the Bay movies, and this is what Ravage should have been in Revenge of the Fallen. Because I love this fucking figure, and I love how, despite the weird alt mode, Ravage can fit inside of Soundwave's chest, which I would have demonstrated here, but I'll save that for the actual video review when I get to doing them. Because this is what we should have gotten from the start. This is why the Bumblebee movie continues to be peak. Now, as you may have noticed, my Ravage is lacking, the side guns and an underslung belly weapon that was essentially a missile to go onto Soundwave's concussion cannon, his shoulder cannon. Now, now for Soundwave, since that's we're here to talk about mostly, since Ravage is just the addition, Ravage is good as a core class figure, since he's just a companion piece for Soundwave. Soundwave himself is really good. Like, I love the detail, the design, obviously, the articulation, the transformation into the very weird and abstract alt mode that people, complain about, but then again, it's a Cybertronian mode,
It's not like if this were an Earth mode, people would not complain, but it's Cybertronian mode, and some people are going to complain like, why does he transform into that? Obviously, if you want to go into the G1 route and make him the lamppost, you can make him the lamppost because it is possible and it is doable. And again, the posability, the details, it's the fact that people, did want this figure after the Bumblebee movie came out because people loved this design. And really, who can blame people for loving Bumblebee movie Soundwave?
And the fact that, Ravage, who comes separately, can interact with him with his old gimmick. I could go on about how much I love this figure because I can sing this figure's praises over the Fallen, over the Last Night Hot Rod, over the other Bumblebee movie characters, and even Off-Road Bumblebee. Like, this figure does a lot of good things. Minus the alt mode, he does have a good transformation. Because again, the alt mode is weird. It's a bit of a pancake, but if it allows, a good robot mode design, a very clean one, because, given how boxy he is, which, Soundwave is a box at heart, or Spark. Yeah.
Again, I love this figure. You guys probably love this figure. I love Soundwave. We all love Soundwave. And Ravage, he's just Ravage. He's fucking adorable. Like, look at this little bastard. How did this little bastard attack Optimus at like this? It's small as shit, but rawr.
So there you have it, guys. That is my ranking of all the Studio Series figures that I got in 2023, but were actually 2022 releases. And again, like the previous ranking videos with Studio Series and Generations, I kind of have been busy, not just at work, but trying to get my life together in regards to a lot of shit, but personal shit aside, I did manage to, I was able to get a lot in 2023, more than 2022, because 2023, is where I, started going back to collecting after, going on a bit of a hiatus. Though at the cost of that means lack of any actual figure reviews. So all these figures that you see here and the ones in my previous videos that I have not reviewed yet, I will eventually review them when I get to doing them. Because right now, I still need to figure out who to review first and then go from there. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Check out my other ranking videos of favorite 2023 figures, and my previous one where I ranked my favorite Generations figures that were also released in 2022 but I did not get until 2023. Follow me on my social media accounts. I have Discord, a server, and an account if you want to DM me. Instagram, and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell in case you want to catch up on any video reviews or random shit that I do, as well as live streams, because I do live streams. And I will see you all in the next one.